Hey, welcome back. MTRA Bedtime Stories is just about to get started with Chapter 14, The Wiki from Misty of Chincoteague. Ready? Here we go. Cinnamon and peppermint are ready. Usually, a colt learns from his mother. It hears her whicker at sound of man's voice. It sees her gallop to meet him when he comes down to the corral. It sees her lip man's hand. Soon, the colt discovers that man represents the good things of life. Delicious surprises in the way of sugar, carrots, apples, and presently it is trying to please man too. Not only to be rewarded with something to eat, but to enjoy the tingly feeling of his hand or the pleasant sound of his voice. With Phantom and Misty, things happened the other way around. Misty accepted human beings right from the start. Their hands felt good to her. She would brace herself, her forelegs splayed out, while Paul or Maureen gently stroked her neck or traced the white blaze on her face. She would lean toward them, asking in the only way she knew that the attentions never stopped. Whenever they brushed her foretop or her mane, she lowered her golden eyelashes as if she was dreaming the most wonderful dreams. I declare, choked Grandpa, that Misty minds me of a girl getting beautified for her first dance. Never was a colt more curious. A wiki was something to be investigated. First, she nosed it, tickled her colty whiskers, and made her sneeze. Sneezing was fun, and one day, without knowing how it happened, she was wearing the wiki around her neck. It did not hurt. Didn't hurt at all. Paul and Maureen were at the other end of it, and they were singing softly. Come along, little Misty, come along. Misty moved a step toward them, her ears pricked as if to catch the music in her name. In wonder of wonders, she was rewarded with a lump of sugar as she walked along. When Phantom saw that Misty was not being hurt, she would come forward too. Nervously, she would take what was offered and then back away a safe distance behind her colt. Grandma often came out to watch with a dish of apples to pare or an armful of clothes to pack. This be the topsy-turviest pair I've ever seed, she would laugh softly. Instead of the colt following its mummy, it's the other way around. It was days, however, before the Phantom would let anyone touch her. The mere placement of a hand upon her coat acted like an electric shock. She would bolt away, snorting and frightened. But as August wore on, the horseflies became so vicious that she turned to Paul and Maureen for help. She's missing the surf, Paul said as they watched her try to shutter her coat to drive the flies away. But the flies seemed to stick faster, drawing blood until Phantom was crazy with pain. They watched her sidle up to the other ponies on the ranch to get the benefit of their swishing tails. But the other ponies bunched up and ran away from her. She tried standing head to tail with Misty, but Misty's tail was so short and floppy that it was not much good. Finally, when she was almost exhausted, she let Paul and Maureen flick the flies for her. She would offer first one leg, then the other, and before the fly season was over, she had learned to shake hands like a circus pony. Riding Phantom was quite another matter, yet it too came about so gradually that she was quite unaware how it happened. First, Maureen made a wide girth out of an old bedsheet and fitted it around Phantom's body, immediately back of her forelegs. Once Phantom discovered that she could gallop just as fast with a band around her body, she no longer minded it. Next, Paul fastened a small sack of sand to the girth. Phantom tried in vain to buck it off, but at last she seemed to realize that she could run as fast as ever with a sack on her back. After that, she no longer fought it. If she'll carry the sand, she'll carry us, Paul concluded. And so it was. By the time frost came, they were riding her bareback with nothing but a single come-along rope made of a wiki. Phantom just won't take a metal bit in her mouth, Paul explained to Grandpa one evening as he and Maureen stood watching him trim one of his pony's hoofs. Great jumping mullets, Grandpa exploded. This pinto's 4 feet has grown out so far, I'm going to need my old-timey razor sides my snips. Maureen, you go get me my razor. Now, what was it you said about Phantom? Grandpa asked as he waited. She just won't take a metal bit, Paul repeated. We're still using the old wiki for a bit and bridle both. Well, ain't she traveling where you want her to? Grandpa barked, turning around to look at Paul. Well, yes, but we just lean the way we want to go and lay the wiki over her against her neck. What more do you want? Nothing, Grandpa. Nothing at all. Maureen and I, we thought you'd be ashamed of us for not doing the right job on our own pony. Ashamed, bellowed Grandpa, straightening up and rubbing both his ears. I'm so dang proud, it's a wonder I ain't busted my suspender straps. Name me 2 other kids as gentled a 3-year-old wild mare. Maureen came running with the razor. Walk, commanded Grandpa. How often do you got to be told that if you want to live in a grown-up, you need to never run with anything as sharp as my old-timey razor? Grandpa says it's all right, Paul told Maureen. Phantom doesn't ever need to know a metal bit. Not ever? Asked Maureen. Not ever, repeated Grandpa as he wheeled the razor in an expert manner. I reckon she'll be happier without ever knowing. That ends our chapter. Wow. They're actually riding Phantom. Isn't that amazing? I just think that's just absolutely wonderful. And the little colt's coming along nicely too. All right, everybody. Get a good night's sleep. Stay safe. Always be kind. And Cinnamon and Peppermint and I will see you tomorrow for chapter 15. Misty from Chincoteague. Good night.